back to our English sessions, and now we are going to continue our topic in English lessons, which is all about the adjective. So let us define what is an adjective. It gives a clearer picture about the nouns and pronouns that they describe. So we have here, let us place adjectives before nouns and pronouns. We have here the first example, lovely Zia. So we have here the adjective lovely that modifies Zia as its noun. Again, lovely Zia. We have tallest building, quiet Sunday, familiar song, and colorful birds. So let us proceed with the next slide. We have here the positions of adjectives. We have the first one, attributive position. So it is placed before the nouns they modify. Examples, so we have here colorful birds are the sight or a sight to behold. Again, colorful birds are a sight to behold. So we have here the adjective colorful that modify the noun birds. And there we have here the adjective colorful that is placed before the noun birds. And that is attributive position. Next example, the Empire State Building was once the tallest building. So we have here tallest as your adjective that modifies the noun building. We have here also the predicate position. So I love to listen to familiar songs. So we have here the adjective familiar and we have here the verb listen. Let us proceed to this chart. So how am I going to show you this chart? Okay, we have here what kind, how many, how much, and which one. How are you going to describe things is to be answered by these questions that's shown in this particular table. So what kind? We have here clear sky, we have here lonely road, and old house. So we have here the nouns which our adjectives here, what kind, modifies. Clear, lonely, and old. How about in the question, how many? There are 20 apples. So we are talking about 20 apples, 2 roads, 3 houses. So we have 20, 2, and 3. How about the question, how much? Enough water, inadequate air, and ample room. So we have enough, inadequate, and ample. Next, so let's move so you can see. Stay there. Okay, we have which one? Those shirts, this road, and that house. So we have those, this, and that. Let us proceed for further learning. We have here rule number 1. The article the is used with a specific noun. It is used when the noun it modifies refers to a definite object, person, or place. The article a and an are indefinite articles and are used with a non-specific nouns that begin with a consonant. An is used to modify singular nouns that begin with vowel or an unpronounced H. So let's see how it happened. Examples. I wish to buy a house on top of the hill. So a singular noun house that begins with a consonant, indefinite, meaning no house in particular. So the person is speaking here, I wish to buy a house on top of the mountain or hill, is talking about an in particular thing or house to buy. So there's no specific house for him or her to buy on top of a hill. How about the next one? I want to buy the house on top of the hill. There is a definite or a particular house has been selected. So the speaker here has its selected house to buy on top of a hill. That's why he or she uses the or the article the to modify the house. In this one, a house, which there is no particular house to buy, or it is indefinite. Examples again. I wish to buy an apple before I go home. Like the rule says, if it is a vowel that is preceded by the article, it should be an apple. Singular noun apple that begins with a vowel. It is indefinite, meaning no apple in particular. Let us proceed. We have here the table that will guide you. Let's use the as your article. So we have here a tree, which is preceded by a consonant T. We have here a tree, a snake, the consonant S. We have here a violin, a computer. So if it's preceded by a consonant, we have T, the S, we have the V, and the K. So we have here the consonants that was preceded by our article A. So how are we going to use the an? An egg. So we have here the E as your vowel, and we use an egg. We have an elephant, an hour. So we have here the silent H, which is considered that we are going to use an, because it is pronounced in a vowel form. R. We have an honor. So it is again a silent H. Let us proceed to the kinds of adjectives. So we have here the first one, which is the descriptive adjectives. It is defined as give color and vividness to the person, place, or things. So we have here the examples. First is half-hearted effort. So we have here half-hearted as our descriptive adjectives or adjective. So we have here fashionable attire, sympathetic listener, and red dress. So this half-hearted, fashionable, sympathetic, and red is what we call the descriptive adjectives. So let's proceed with the second one, which is limiting adjectives. It is defined as indicate number of quantity. So what is italicized here is what we call the limiting adjectives. Example, the tongue is full of gas. So it is the full that is known as the limiting adjective. Please buy 3 chocolates. So we have here 3 as your limiting adjective. And last, the one time I kissed Lizen, it was heaven. So 1 here is the limiting adjective. Let us proceed to the nouns as adjectives. So possessive adjectives describes the other noun as being owned. So we have here Mark's car. So there's an ownership on this. Lucio Tan's empire. And Maria's sandals. So this is what we call the possessive adjective. There is an ownership of a particular thing. We have here pronouns as adjectives. Possessive forms of personal pronouns often used with nouns in much the same way as the possessive form of nouns. So we have here examples. Let's move here. These are his keys. So his here is your adjectives. This is your book. my car skated. Their parents brought these toys. So meaning to say that we have here his, your, my, and their as our example of possessive forms of personal pronouns. Let us proceed. We have here demonstrative adjectives. So I hope you still remember the things we discussed in our past videos. Points out definite person, place, or things. Example, this television set, that calendar, these tickets, those trees. So we have here the demonstrative adjectives used. We have this, that, this, and those. So that is, let's proceed. We have here the indefinite adjectives. Do not point out particular persons, places, or things. Each boy, not pointing anybody, all students, any candidate, both fruits, and some graduates. And that is indefinite adjectives. Let us proceed to the interrogative adjectives. When we talk about interrogative in the kinds of sentences, it ends with a question mark, and it always asks a question. Examples, what have you selected? Whose house is that? Which seat do you prefer? So, these are considered questions, which is the interrogative adjectives. Let's proceed with the pronouns as adjectives in predicate adjectives. So we have here the definition. Some adjectives in the predicate describes nouns located also in the predicate, while others describe nouns located in the subject. Examples, the topic are diverse. Diverse topic. The iron was heated till it became incandescent. Incandescent iron. The tumor proved to be malignant. So malignant tumor. Let's proceed with the next one. Comparison and adjectives. So what are these? We have here the positive degree. Is the simple form of the adjective. There is no comparison being made. Examples, is your thermometer trustworthy? Your suggestion is good. So there is no comparison made at the very first thing. It is the positive degree or the simple form of adjective. Let's proceed to comparative degree. It is used when comparing two persons or things. Shows the quality expressed by the adjective exists to greater or to a lesser degree in one of the two being compared. So we have here the rules to follow. Rule number 1. Comparative degree of almost one-syllable adjectives is formed by adding er to the positive degree or to the simple form of the adjective. Adjectives ends in y, change y to I before adding er. In others, you may need to prefix such comparative words with more and less. And let's proceed to the examples of rule number 1. Richard has a sharper mind than Leo. So we have here the regular adjective sharp, which was added into er. That makes a comparison. So Richard and Leo here are being compared. So sharper is the adjective in the comparative degree. My sister is less emotional than my friend. So the sister and friend is compared using the prefix less with the adjective emotional. My wife was more emotional than her mother. So more is added as the prefix in the emotional adjective. Her suggestion is better. Better here is your comparative degree. Next, let's proceed to the superlative degree. Used, compare more than two things. It indicates the quality expressed by the adjective is possessed to the greatest or to the least degree by one of the persons or things included in the comparison. So let's proceed. Examples. Dave has the sharpest mind in class. So Dave is compared not only by one person, rather more than one person. It is in the class. Next, that is the best idea. Among all the idea, they chose the best idea. The forest was darkest on our third night. So it is compared into more than one night passed. So we have rule number 2. Superlative degree of all adjectives of one syllable is formed by adding est to the simple form of the adjective. If the adjective ends in y, change y to I before adding est. In others, you may need to prefix such comparative words with most and least. Let's proceed with our table that will give you a clearer examples. So we have here the table, which is the positive, comparative, and superlative degree. So we have here bad, we have worse, and worst. We have hot, hotter, hottest. We have late, later, latest. Near, nearer, nearest. Fragrant, less fragrant, and least fragrant. Many, more, most. And we have here the last one, wide, wider, and widest. So as you can see here, all the rules were applied. So for further learnings, we will be seeing each other again to our next videos. So thank you for watching. And it says, we are stronger when we listen and smarter when we share. Thank you and goodbye.
Clap.